Today I have a 45-minute class for our hips. It has a couple of more challenging poses in it, but it should still be pretty beginner friendly. All you need to grab today is your yoga mat. So let's get on it. Let's get started first by getting our spines warmed up with a deep inhale upwards. And let's exhale over to our right side. As usual, if you feel this in your back, give a little lean forward. And if you feel this in your abs, give a little lean back. Inhaling up, nice and tall. And exhaling down to our left side now, continuing swaying palm. Inhale up, big, big, tall. One last time, all the way to the sky. And exhale our arms out and behind us. Bring them behind and clasp them. Get those hands together and feel those collarbones spread out. Get a nice open chest. Feel your heart rising. Continuing deeper into this, we're going to look upwards, adding a back bend into our upper back. And now let's exhale, keeping our arms clasped together. We're going to slowly bend over and let the weight of our arms tip forward in front of us. You'll feel that chest continue to open, as well as starting to get our hamstrings and everything all nice and warmed up. Let's exhale, release our hands down to the floor. Just a nice classic forward fold. Feel that heavy torso, loose head. Let's adjust our feet if they're not already hip width apart. Let's migrate them to hip distance apart. We're going to plant our right hand at center mass right in between our toes. Put a little bit forward. And on the inhale, we're going to twist up towards our left side, bringing up that left hand, bending out our right knee and keeping that left leg straight. You're going to feel your left leg come light on the back. You're going to feel this twist up our side. We're going to exhale downwards, changing out our hands. And we're going to inhale and rotate the other way, bringing that right arm up to the sky. Letting our left leg relax and bend now. Getting our right leg nice and awake. And we're going to exhale down and fold ourselves even further in. You'll notice that your legs are a little looser, and bringing yourself closer to your legs is a little easier now. So we're going to go ahead and hug ourselves around the knees. Loop those arms out behind the backs of our knees and squeeze ourselves in. Be aware of your ankle movements. They're going to be minute but fervent. And give yourself a big leg hug. Stretch out the backs of those legs. Feel your hamstrings wake up for the morning. And now we're going to release our hands and slowly rise on the inhale, rolling our spines up like one of those party favors that you blow into in the... Very nice. Let's roll those necks out. Give them one last little nod of attention before we start on our hips. Swinging it this way and that. Changing our rotation for a couple spins. Ooh, maybe getting one of those out. I wonder if the microphone picked that up. Lovely. Let's situate ourselves at the tops of our mats. Give ourselves enough room to forward fold. And we're going to exhale down on ourselves, hinging at the waist, letting our hips take care of all of the bending. And we're going to plant those hands nice and spread apart. Sturdy hands for support. And kick back that left foot all the way back to the back of our mats. And position ourselves so that our right foot is a nice, stable 90-degree angle for a low lunge. And we're going to settle into this for a couple of breaths, leaning our weight forward onto our right leg. You're going to feel the quad of your left leg be a little bit happy about this. And just relax into that quad. Lean into the right hip. Slowly, let's plant that left knee on the floor and relinquish our toes of their duties, relaxing the top of our left foot onto our mat. And inhale upwards, bringing ourselves into a slightly balancing position. Feel free to rest your hands on the knee or bring them to your heart center, as is comfortable. Taking the remainder of our weight off of our hands that were on the floor, we're going to find that our hips are opening up a lot more now. It's become a very intense stretch all of a sudden. Let's just bear this for a few more breaths. And let's bring our left hand down for a little bit of balance for what we're going to do next. Planted right about equal to your right foot. And we're going to inhale, twisting over on ourselves. Bring that right arm up to the sky and bend that left leg. Kicking it up into the air. You're going to feel your quad light up a little bit more. And we're going to reach backwards. Try and find that left foot. And if you can't quite reach it, then just kind of place your hand somewhere, wherever feels comfortable. Keep that twist going. Aim to catch that foot though. Very nice. One more deep breath in this. Inhale through the nose and exhale to release. Go ahead and bring both of our hands back up to the top of our mat. Scooching our foot so that our feet or our toes are underneath us. We're going to kick ourselves up to join our right foot. I'm going to inhale slowly upwards. All the way upwards to the ceiling. And then we're going to exhale, hinging at the hips back downwards. And this time, kick back the right leg. Shimmy yourself into a nice low lunge. Stable 90-degree angle on that front leg. And we're going to lean into the front leg. Just realized my necklace that I wear every day kind of bonks the mic a couple of times. I might have to not wear that. Lean forward into it. Feel the length in our right leg. Nice and long reach. And exhale, settle that right knee down on our mat. Relax those toes down onto the mat. And we're going to inhale upwards. Bringing ourselves into an unsupported low lunge. Hands on our knee or heart center. Maybe give a glance back to make sure that you're lining yourself up properly. On each exhale, you're going to feel the relaxation in the hips. Spread them just a little further out. Just dipping half an inch down at a time, quarter inch down at a time. And now we're going to bring our right hand up to our top of our mat again. Give that a nice wide plant. Plenty of space for our fingers to catch our weight. And we're going to inhale up and around with our left hand. Kicking up our right foot. And we're going to exhale and reach for that right foot. Twist and reach. Sometimes I can't quite grab this foot either. Read your body. Evaluate how your hips feel. Hips are a common place to store stress and anxiety. Keeping them loose will keep us mindful of how much pressure we're putting on ourselves. One more deep inhale. And exhale to relax. Let that foot come back to our mat. And let's slide our left foot backwards to join it. Set our knees nice and wide and our feet a little bit closer together. And then send our butts back into our hips. Just slide them onto the tops of our feet. Bringing our butt to our heels. Our forehead to our mat. Letting our elbows hang onto our mat. Feel the openness in our hips, the space that we have there. And on each exhale, let your body drip further forward into that space, blending the area of our torso and our thighs as we slowly melt into our mats. Deep breaths in through our nose and out through our mouth. When we're ready to move on, inhale ourselves upward and walk those hands back towards us. And then sweep our legs out to the side so that we can plant our pelvis on our mat. You gotta move some things out of the way. Scoot your meat out of the way. Settle into a nice solid Dandasana or staff pose. Feeling our pelvises. We should feel rooted to the base of our mat with the base of our pelvis. There's these two little sit bones that are the ones that tell you if you're in a hard chair or not. Those should be sort of your sort of your plant. Those are where you're screwed into the mat. And then from there, you'll feel your spine rising up, straight, tall. And exhale forward, hinging at the hips, keeping a straight spine. And we're just reaching for our calves, toes, whatever comes to mind. But keep that spine nice and straight. And on each exhale, reach forward just a little bit more. Inhale, straight spine, solid core. Exhale, reaching towards those toes, towards the front of our mat. This is an excellent pose for letting us know if we have any hip misalignments, because you'll notice that you're leaning to one side or the other, that one of your heels feels like it's infinitely heavier and more pressed against the mat than the other. Maybe even just one hip trying to lift off of the floor, but not the other one. Pay mind to these possible misalignments. Don't worry about them too much. Proper yoga, maybe a visit to the chiropractor if it's bad, but we'll line ourselves up a little bit better today than when we started. One more big exhale. Reach as far as you can. And then inhale up. Coming back to Dandasana. We're going to bend our right leg at the knee. Till our foot's right about even with our left knee. And we're just going to let that fall out to the side. Plant it against your left leg if that feels comfortable, or leave it a little more open if you need that space for your knee to be comfortable. And then we're going to exhale forward again, hinging at our hips. Feeling now that our right hip is being opened up to the side, while our left hip is still receiving the same back of the leg pressed up against the mat treatment. Pay close mind to your right knee, and you'll notice as you breathe deeper into this pose, your knee will drop closer and closer to your mat. This is one of those lovely stretches in yoga where your breath really does so much of the work for you. Let's inhale up. And bring our knee back to center. It's best to do this with our hands so that we don't immediately clench all of those muscles we just relaxed. We're going to tip our leg over our left leg, sweeping it and scooping it into sort of a half cow face pose. Not quite as compressing or knee breaking as a full cow face pose. And we're going to grab our right leg or our right foot on the top of the foot with our left hand, kind of holding it in place. Feel free to use our right hand on the other side of the mat as sort of a balancer, or maybe just to keep your hip from falling over. And we're going to exhale forward, bending ourselves over that right knee. You're going to feel this in your right external hip. And this is going to be the deepest form of the full back of the leg stretch for our left side. And the weight of our right leg pressing it against the mat might make this a little bit more intense, depending on how tight our hamstrings are. But if you're not feeling it in the back of your left leg and you want to, try flexing those toes up towards our face, clenching the top of our foot. We're going to inhale up and gently be nice with this leg. We're going to spread our right leg out in front of us, replanting that hip. And we're going to trade out. We're going to bend our left leg now, bringing it up by our knee, and then just letting it fall to the side. Spine's nice and tall, pelvis is planted. And we're going to exhale forward, reaching for our shin, reaching for our foot, following our breath. And as we inhale, we'll feel the resistance. Feel that left hip being forced out, open into the side. And then as we exhale, we're going to slink just a little bit further forward. On our next inhale, we'll rise slowly out of this. And sweep that left leg over our right knee and grasp it in towards our right hip. Stacking those knees one on top of the other as best as we can. Wow. My left external hip is a lot tighter this week than my right external hip.
It's actually looser for me. Why would it?
That's why hips are so important. No two peoples are even alike.
I'm scared they are.
Honestly, maybe a little bit. Let's exhale forward, leaning onto our left knee and reaching for our right toes. Feel free to let your spine curve a little bit on this one. There's a whole leg in the way. I've learned certain yoga poses like this one are very easy for me because I have very long arms. So when they say reach for your toe, I'm like, bleep. I can wrap my hands around each other. But part of that's because I got long arms. Someone has nice long model legs, they might have a lot longer to reach and not the arm to do it with. That's what props are for. You're over there like, I can't imagine a model having a handicap in yoga. I thought they'd be great at it. One more big inhale and sweep ourselves all the way in. Reach as far as you possibly can on the exhale. Deepest representation of this pose you can manage today. And inhale upwards. Gently bring our legs back to Dandasana. And I don't have my phone and my music to tell the time with. And yes, just as I thought. Okay. Let's scooch ourselves a little further down on our mats. And go ahead and lay back, adjusting our hair or whatever we need. Get comfy in this spot, letting our spines relax down into the mat. And let's bring the intersections of our feet together, touching those big toes or your bunions together, clinking our heels like I just want to go home. And then let our knees fall apart. Coming into a reclined bound angle, we're going to let the soles of our feet smush together and our knees fall towards the mat. Really panini those feet together and you'll feel your legs activate, tipping your pelvis forward and up. You'll feel your lower back press further into our mats. And then exhale and we'll relax, letting our knees fall further to the sides, opening up those hips. Inhale, pressing our feet sandwiched together, feeling our lower back smush against the mat again. And exhale, release. Let those knees come even further down. All right. Let's extend those legs straight out in front of us, one at a time, gently. We're going to bring our arms up to our sides in cactus posture, relaxing our elbows into the mat, relaxing the back of our hands onto the floor, giving a little chin scratchy. Yeah. We're going to bend at just the right knee, bringing it up to our side a little bit. And exhale, we're going to cross it over our left leg, keeping that left leg nice and active and coming into a reclined twist. By keeping our shoulder on the floor, both of them, our goal is to focus this stretch into our external hip and the psoas that connect our hips to our spine. And by keeping our left leg active while we reach with our right leg, we're creating a very symmetrical stretch for ourselves. One side gets this exact treatment, and then we'll switch over and make sure that we are in the same alignment for our other side. Get those psoas nice and loose. Every time you exhale, try to let that right leg dip a little further over towards the floor. We're going to inhale up, unwinding ourselves as we expand our rib cage with air. And we're going to extend that right leg down, down, straight into the mat. Let's bring our left leg up for its turn. Prepare a nice big lung full of air, filling that vessel nice and full, completely like a vase full of water, all the way down to our navel. And then exhale, flipping that left leg over our right. Keep that right leg nice and active. There was a back pop. Nice. Let's inhale and unwind. Bringing our left leg around and then stretching it down to the end of our mat. We're going to take our hands out of cactus position and just kind of manually move our butts down our mat, tilting our pelvis upwards towards the air, towards the light. You're going to feel your lower back come into a much closer contact with your mat. And then we're going to settle our hands down onto the side, just nice and loose next to us. Let our fingers curl in a little bit naturally. Let those toes tip out to the outside. As we soften the space between our eyebrows and unclench our jaws, we welcome ourselves to Savasana, knowing that each breath we take in Savasana helps cement the changes and the relaxation that we created in ourselves in yoga. It's a very important pose. As we breathe in through our nose, we imagine all of the good that we're doing for our bodies. And as we exhale through our mouth, we're letting all of the stress that was in our hips just flutter away like butterflies. Relax in this posture for just a couple of minutes. Allow yourself to be completely limp. Enviable relaxation. Let's come back to ourselves. Open up our eyes and gently roll ourselves over to our sides so that we can push up to a seated position. Oh, Spot, you didn't have to get up too. He says, I'm gonna.
That's a nice dress. And Hand, hand, hand.
Yes.
Cute. Mm.